Hello viewers, I'm here to talk to you about fake osmium. For reference, this is real osmium. This is about 31 grams of it. This is also real osmium, but the intense sunlight may screw with the blue color a little bit. So first and foremost, in terms of osmium bullion, things like that, it is impossible to counterfeit them. With gold, you can get a tungsten core. You can shave off the outer layer of a real gold bullion and then put it over top of the tungsten core. You can't do that with osmium. One, it's way too hard. It's incredibly brittle. And the only other metal that has nearly the same density as it is iridium, which is way more expensive than osmium. So it's not going to happen. That being said, I have been seeing more fake osmium for sale on the internet than usual. Now, if you're me and you work with osmium as much as I have, and you've bought and sold osmium as much as I have, you can spot fake osmium 10 miles away easily. But not everybody can, I don't think. So it should be very important to know that while osmium is found in nature, it's not found in large quantities. Probably the largest piece of pure osmium found in nature is going to be no more than 7 millimeters in length. Those are very, very small pieces. So when you see eBay listings or Etsy listings for huge chunks of so-called osmium minerals or natural osmium, and especially if they just look like rocks, chances are they're not really osmium. Now, the osmium beads, bullion, and crystals, and osmium wedding rings that are made, and everything else, that is all done in a lab. So if you see, sparkly rocks covered in what appear to be osmium crystals being sold by some company who claims they found them, no, that's not osmium at all. Generally, the only 100% way to verify if something contains osmium or not is if you have an XRF machine, which stands for X-ray fluorescence. It will tell you the chemical composition of a substance as well as the purity of those substances, basically the percentages. If you don't have one of those, you essentially just have to buy the product and do chemical testing yourself. For example, throwing it in aqua regia. If it dissolves, then it's probably just a rock or some other mineral. And if it's something like graphite, you could try sticking it in piranha solution, and that should oxidize it to CO2. It's also possible you could oxidize graphite in boiling 50% hydrogen peroxide, but I haven't tried it, so I don't know for sure. Another way to test for osmium is to use a whetstone exactly like this one. Because on this side, oh, I don't want to scratch, I'm not in a hurry to wreck this thing, but on this side, this will scratch osmium, and you'll get osmium powder residue on there. However, on the other side, it does not scratch osmium. In fact, it's the reverse. Osmium scratches it. So it's the scratch hardness or the scratch resistance has to be in between this side and this side. Its Mohs hardness is 7, so it has quite a high scratch resistance, and its Vickers hardness is very high. And you can demonstrate that by hitting it with a hammer and seeing that essentially nothing happens. I have one video of that on my channel, and there's another YouTuber who also did that. Now, I've had a few people on the channel ask me in the past, where do you actually get osmium? And there's several places. In fact, eBay actually sells a lot of real osmium. But if you want to go directly to the source, just to be sure that it's real, Lucidaria sells osmium. They're probably, for 1 gram samples, they're the cheapest sellers of osmium. There's also Smart Elements, there's Nova Elements, there's Metallium. They're at elementsales.com. But those are mostly the big ones. If you do find a site that is claiming to have or selling alleged naturally found osmium, you should look to see if the composition is listed, because usually it'll be osmium mixed with iridium, so-called osmiridium, and there'll usually be some ruthenium in there as well. So you want to look to see if they actually list what the composition is of any given sample. If they don't, I would be immediately suspicious of it, because osmium is extremely, extremely rare. Much, much rarer than gold. You're not going to find huge nuggets of it, ever, ever. Okay, the crustal abundance of osmium is around 1 part per billion, or less. So if you find a site that's saying, oh, look, we have these osmium stones, look, ooh,